Hi, I'm Alan Hills, and welcome to SRTV's movie review show, A Night at the Movies. Let's cut to the chase. This Christmas Eve will be the 25th anniversary of the classic 1993 Western Tombstone, which remains to this day as one of the most popular Westerns of our lifetime. Therefore, this episode will be all about celebrating the cinematic legacy of the Western, which is truly incomparable to any other form of cinematic entertainment. From the epic cowboy heroes to the iconic stars who play them, the Western truly is the defining genre of the American cinema. It's a genre that's made us all who we are as moviegoers, expecting to see an exciting story unfold on screen. So for this episode, I chose 5 incredible Westerns to critique as a tribute to our country's greatest cinematic genre. So here's the rundown, starting as always in chronological order. Western number 1 is 1952's High Noon, the Western of all Westerns. Whenever you have discussion of classic Westerns with someone, High Noon is destined to come up. This was also the first movie to ever depict a story in real time. The iconic Gary Cooper stars as a sheriff who tries to retire and leave town with his new wife. That is until he receives the news that a dangerous killer that he imprisoned will be returning to town on the noon train to seek revenge, prompting him to stay in town and confront him. The plot of this movie really has remained unbeatable for decades, since the entire story is strictly centered on the general intensity of the upcoming fight. In other Westerns, you usually wait an hour or more to feel the intensity of the upcoming fight, and it's usually very brief. But this Western keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. And when the clock strikes noon, the most classic Western ever is born. Western number 2 is 1960's The Magnificent Seven, which is also a story that is strictly centered on the general intensity of the upcoming fight, just like High Noon. In this movie, a group of Mexican villagers head to Texas to recruit gunmen to protect their small village from savage bandits. Eli Wallach plays the evil leader of the bandits. The villagers end up recruiting 7 legendary hired guns as a result. The most popular stars among these Magnificent Seven are Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, and James Coburn. The superb performances of these stars make The Magnificent Seven the classic Western that it is. It's funny, it's thrilling, and above all, magnificent. It even inspired a comedic spoof in 1986 called Three Amigos, and a full-blown remake in 2016. Even though most 20th century Westerns are positively heroic, very few of them strictly focus on the brutal lawlessness of the Wild West. This is certainly not the case with Western number 3, 1962's The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, directed by the visionary John Ford. James Stewart stars in this movie alongside America's most cunning cinematic cowboy ever, John Wayne. Wayne's unusual status in this movie as the supporting actor ultimately establishes this appearance as his most legendary role of all time. Stewart stars as a young lawyer. Upon arrival in Shinbone, Arizona, he tries to encourage more legal methods of bringing the town's most vicious thug, Liberty Valance, to justice. The famous Lee Marvin gives a captivatingly psychotic performance as the titular villain. Wayne stars as a local rancher and gunfighter who keeps trying to convince the straight-laced lawyer that the law is unfortunately not enough to resolve disputes in the West. That's what makes this movie so intriguing. It gives us an idea of just how crazy and corrupt this era was. Plus, even if there was some law and order, it was extremely difficult to maintain. However, the drama of this difficulty is thrillingly presented in this great, great Western. Western number 4 is Tombstone, which is without doubt one of the most cunning and triumphant Westerns ever made. This film depicts the historical events in which law and order made a comeback to the West. 80s and 90s stars Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer give legendary performances as the historical buddy duo U.S. Marshal Wyatt Earp and John Doc Holliday, the 2 lawmen responsible for restoring peace to the post-Civil War West. When towns like Tombstone, Arizona were plagued by vigilantism and corruption, Earp and Holliday had what it took to stop all the evil gunslinging maniacs who terrorized everyone, everywhere. Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton also give amazing supporting performances as Wyatt's 2 other brothers, Virgil and Morgan, who also assist the buddy duo in their pursuit of justice. Aside from the incredible acting jobs of these 4 stars, the movie also features the most epic depiction of the famous gunfight at the OK Corral. The other important highlight of this film is the script, which contains masterful writing and incredible one-liners that you'll be quoting for life. Believe me, you will. My family quotes this movie on a frequent basis. Overall, Tombstone is nothing short of a masterpiece. Last but certainly not least, Western number 5 is 2015's Forsaken, which, despite being a very recent release, is strictly and successfully designed as an old-fashioned Western. The movie stars both Kiefer and Donald Sutherland together for the first time ever. Plus, it is beautifully directed by John Cassar, who directed many episodes of Kiefer's hit TV show 24. Kiefer stars as a gunfighter who decides to leave his dark life behind and mend his relationship with his Reverend Father, played by Donald. But when a local and greedy businessman begins ordering hired guns to claim the lands of local settlers, the retired gunslinger might be left with no choice but to intervene. This movie really is an authentic Western thanks to its extremely clever story. It doesn't go overboard by being too violent or too confusing like most recent Westerns. It's understandable, enjoyable, and just plain awesome. So if you're a fan of this genre, or if you feel like you need to see more of it, then you should watch these 5 incredible Westerns and ride off into the sunset with glory. And that's all the time we have. I'm Alan Hills, and this has been A Night at the Movies. Thank you for watching, partners.